Uh, where do you want to use the screen here? What do you want to do?
I think I just share the screen.
Okay.
Right.
And
You can see this. All right, it's good. All right, so today I'm going to like briefly introduce how to like beautify your slides, and also I also put images here because I think sometimes they're supplementary. Like if you can create beautiful images, then basically you can just create beautiful slides. And I think this tutorial won't be very systematic because we only have limited time. So I'm just going to introduce some of the low-hanging fruits so that you can learn some like special tricks. And yes, so let's just go ahead. And so I think before I show you how to do this, I want to show some of the images and slides that I made before. Like first, there are some like images. So these are actually from this is from my first paper with Kesha. We're working on a trunk diameter app. So these are actually all the figures. And I have to say that most of the figures are designed in PowerPoint. So yeah. And like this is the next paper that we just get accepted last week. So this is also this paper are also these images are actually created using PowerPoint. And also we have more graphs here, like you can see. Yeah. So basically this is this is some like cases that I want to show you. Here this is a brief overview of the tools that I use. So I would say like here I listed some of the tools here, like PowerPoint, Python, and Illustrator, some plugins, and also like I guess some websites that I found to be really useful. And also I want to say that like I think these parts only account for 30%. I mean scales only account for 30%. But if you want to create like beautiful slides or beautiful images, I think the remaining 70% comes from like aesthetics. And by doing this, you can actually take a look at those like pictures from nature or science. Actually, I've been doing this like after graduation. So I've been doing this for a couple of years. Like every week, I would just log into the nature like website. I'm going to look at the what is the highlights like papers, and then just look into that paper, and I can see some like beautiful images here. So this is how I inspired. So I would say just this is really useful because it can just calculate the sense of aesthetics. Well, so I guess first I want to just quickly like walk you through the tools that I use because this is really useful. So the first is Adobe Illustrator, but actually I haven't used it for quite a long time because I just find that like you can just use PowerPoint. So I guess the only functionality of using Adobe Illustrator is that you can just kind of let's say if you take a look at the map here, like I draw this map using Python or using like other script, and then I just import the image inside Illustrator, and then I just create some, let's say, legends or like some other graphs, some subgraphs inside Illustrator. Actually, you can just do this within PowerPoint. So I haven't been using it for quite a long time. And the second thing I want to show you that this is really useful. Like here, I think this is a trigger for me. Like here I just put the website here. Like this is called R Graph Gallery. So here it shows some like very successful cases where you can just create these graphs using R language. But also there is another version which is called Python Graph Gallery. Yeah, it's basically the same, but it's different programming language. But I would actually, if you really want to create this, highly customizable and graphs like this, I would highly recommend using R because that R is especially it's like I would just highly recommend R language.
Is this ggplot?
Yeah, ggplot.
Oh.
And also ggplot too, and also I guess some other libraries that you can tap into.
Yeah, there's actually a port of ggplot to Python.
Oh yeah, no. Like, that's why you can just use Python to do this. But still, personally, so sometimes when it comes to like creating these graphs, I will still use R. Yeah, in case I forgot, in case I can like rust it. Yeah, so, and you can see the picture I showed here, like this is the demo that from this R graph gallery, and below, this is the one that I reproduced for the R spread paper. Like you can see, actually, I just basically just copied the code and just made some modifications, and yeah, stuff like that. Okay, so next thing I want to show you is actually like background removal. I think this is really important. Like, let's say if you want to insert the picture inside your PowerPoint class, so sometimes you will have some like background, right? But it seems a little bit messy because you have like totally different color. But the way you do this is actually you come to this like website and you upload your image like this, and you will just automatically extract the thing outside, like remove the background automatically. So this is really useful. And the third thing is the color palette, because sometimes I do think like finding a proper palette is really important, right? Like you can see so this is still the figure from the paper. You can see sometimes if you find a right palette, it looks really appealing of this. So if you don't know how to choose color, you can just log into here. I recommended two websites here. Like this is the one that I've been using, and also this is the one that I found like recently. It's from Adobe. I think this is really good. Yeah, so you can just refer to this two websites to find some inspirations. All right, and so that's the thing that I mentioned is like you can actually cultivate the aesthetic sensibilities. Like here, I don't know, like this is actually a blogger from China. Like I subscribe to him on WeChat. So like every week or every month he would just post this like beautiful graphs from nature science. But actually you can do this yourself, right? Like what I was doing is I just take a look at the nature website and I found some papers and maybe just look into like how they draw the paper. Especially sometimes I can find, there is nature geoscience and nature climate change. So if you go to that, you're able to find some really beautiful maps. So yeah, where you can just draw inspiration. Yeah. And yes, and also I want to mention that like this is the graph that I made for our last paper, and you can see here this is a comment from one of the reviewers, and he said, "Wow, figure 7 is fantastic. Well, this is not just dumping all the stuff, this is a real nice result to guide users." And actually, like this paper is so I don't know. So actually, I just created this kind of like image. Actually, I haven't seen someone like show the result like this before.
Maybe I'll explain what it is.
Okay, so this is like this. Like this is actually well, if you take a look at Latin here, like different transparency stands for different ratios, and here 0 stands for the baseline, and here I tested two models. Deep Lab is one model, and MobileNet is another model. So like if you take a look at this, like you can see when you increase the ratio between, I think the ratio of synthetic data over real data, you can see actually first the performance increases and then suddenly it drops. Like so that means like when you just incorporate too much unreal data, actually it will harm the model performance. So by creating this kind of stuff, I think it's really straightforward to see this kind of pattern from this. And also here I created a subset here because yeah, just it's kind of like a zoom in of this part. So what I want to say is that sometimes I just find that sometimes creating a beautiful figure is somehow important because this is like the first impression, right? So like the reviewers saw your paper and he said, wow, this is really good looking like image. Yeah. So maybe he will just have a higher rate of your paper. Yeah. So this is my understanding. Okay. So this is basically the figure, how to create like beautiful images. So actually I want to right now we're going to the main topic today. It's like how to make visually appealing slides. And because like I mentioned before, this is not a systematic tutorials. I can just show you some like special tricks that I use. Here I put 3 of them here. The first is navigation bar, and then second is how to add animation, and then last, this is the transition. It's called morph, and I will use it intensely. It's really useful. And finally, I want to show you some demo because I think this is really important. Like I can just show you, wow, what does that, wow, this is a really bad looking like slide. And then how can I beautify it? You know, how do I do this step by step? So this is how, you know, this is the next thing I'm gonna cover. But I think before doing this, I want to show you some of the slides that I made like before, right? Thing, yeah, so you can see like what kind of styles that I have. Well, this is the, for context, this is the slides that I've been using back in my undergrad time. So, you know, at the last year, we have a defend for a reward. So the name of the reward is the most outstanding students award of my university. So basically every university in China has this kind of reward, but it has like different names. Let's say maybe from Tsinghua, they have like top 10 students, or from Peking University, they have like top 10 students. But in our university, we just called it like the most outstanding students award. And to do this, so like this is the slides I've been using for that event. And you know, and also like the key part is like you can see actually all of the candidates, they are very competitive. I mean, all of them have papers, right? We have patents, we have papers, and we have like very high GPA. So I guess the key trick is like how to attract the referees, right? Because we have like 10 referees here, and after the defense, they're gonna like vote you, like so that you, if you got like a higher votes, then you're selected. So that is the context. That is the context. So I'm gonna show you like this is the slide that I made. And also the story was like I was graduated from University of Electronics Science and Technology of China. I don't know, maybe you've never heard of that before, but it's okay. But the context is like my grandma also graduated from the university, and also my uncle, which is my mother's brother, also graduated from the university. So here you can see there are there are actually 3 timelines here. Like 1960, this is the day where my grandma like admitted by the university in 1988, and 2019, this is a year where I, you know, entered the college. And here, this is a train. This tree is actually a train, I think, in front of the university gate. So this is like the first page of my slides. And then what I did is I don't know, you don't have to understand, you know, a lot of this Chinese character means. So you only like, I think you only focus on the effects for how I represent this. So this is how it starts. So first, I create this content. It has a lot of like timelines, right? So this 1960, this is I think from 1960 to 1962. This is the story of my grandma. This is the story of my uncle, and right now this is the story of mine. And you can see we have like 4 years. So I have like 2009 to 2002. So the first story is about my grandma, and yeah. So like I just briefly introduced, you know, what was the life there. Like what was the campus, like university campus life back in her time. And then just, you know, kind of to my like situation. So this is my first year and you know, I just listed something that I've done. Like I have some, you know, high GPA and stuff, and I have a lot of like scholarships and going on.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What do you get if you win this? Do people just feel like cool?
Yeah, actually, so first you get some money, obviously.
Oh.
And then actually, like, this is like an honor, right? Like, you're the like kind of like the top 10 students in your university. So this
Yeah, but like in America, people just do it by GPA and just win.
Okay, I see. Yeah, but actually, like in Chinese universities, you can see a lot of students have very high GPA. I mean, I don't have the highest GPA in my school. You know, there are some students have higher GPA. So I think this depends to assess your, I guess, comprehensive ability, something like that, right? Yeah, so that is the meaning of this kind of defense or this kind of awards.
I think it's the same as in Tokyo, where like your GPA is like table stakes, but once you're in, you need to present and stuff. Like I got 30,000 yen, which is like 300 pounds in like book vouchers or something, for kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But I imagine it works kind of the same way. I still need to spend that. If anyone has book recommendations for $300, let me know.
Yeah, I like spend your coffee with very cheap.
If I could spend on coffee, I would have spent it already.
Yeah. So this was like my uncle's life back in his time, and then just, you know, this is like my thing, and It just, this is some of the, like, I once chaired the students union in my university, so basically these are the activities that I organized. And, like, stuff and stuff. And like, this is like some of the awards that I won for doing this, and then back to 1962, this is my grandma, and 2001. So this is my third year. Actually, I really like this one. Like, you can see how I just, showcase this kind of thing. And yeah.
It's almost like a documentary film. I'm serious. I mean, because the transitions make it look like almost like a movie rather than a
Yes.
slideshow.
Yes. Actually, I can just, if you're really interested, I can show you like how to do this maybe later. And so this was actually like, I stayed, so it's like this. I'm from Sichuan, and Sichuan is adjacent to Tibet. I don't know if you ever heard of that. And also, so these images are from a Tibetan village. So I was there for a month because, like, I taught the local students there, and also we collected some data for their village because they don't have a map. So we just created a map for them. And, so that, yeah, this is the image that I taken from there. Yeah, so this is news that reported our things, and yeah. So basically, you can see just
just one word of warning, right? So there used to be this tool called Prezi, Prezi, and it did zooming presentations about 15 years ago. And I used this for a really big talk I had to give, and someone at the front of the audience vomited because they were really, really motion sick. So if you're on a big screen, be a little bit careful with like zooming straight in. It's a bit like the VR sickness that people get now. So I was so up for zooming presentations until I caused someone to throw up.
I see.
Yeah, Prezi was like this, and I remember people were quite unhappy with some Prezis. It went too much.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks so good though.
Yeah. So this is like the final part. Yeah. And also, I think I also like the last part. This is like the movie, like at the end of the movie, you can see kind of like this caption. And these are here. I listed all the people that want, give my like altitude. Oh, sorry. Like I really want to thank them for their support, and yeah. So basically, this is like the.
I thought it was like references.
Exactly. So yes, so this is the final part. And oh, sorry, just close. Back to, yeah. All right. So let's just get back to our topic here. Sorry. I think it's this. All right. So next I'm gonna like introduce 3 tricks that I found to be quite useful, and also it's very easy to pick. So the first is the navigation bar. I don't know if you still remember this slide. This is actually the slide that I showed you for my last talk. And here also I put some lines here. Like you can just treat them as the reference lines. And so there's a theory, but I don't know like where that theory comes from. It's like if you really want to like create like visually appealing slides, you would better just put all your contents within this smaller rectangle, rather than just spread it across the whole slide. So I mean, but sometimes if you just put all your contents within this small rectangle, then like the edges will seem a little bit empty, right? So by doing this, what I did is I actually can just create a navigation bar, so that you can see like if we just put a navigation bar here, then like this part of field, and also down here, actually you can just put maybe your university logo or maybe your name, your department down here. So that would just compensate for the empty parts near the edges. So yeah, so actually, and also here, like I modified the color because I want to, because like the color of the university logo is a little bit red, so I kind of like created this navigation bar. And I think this navigation bar is really important because you can just tell like where are you right now, and also the audience will know, well, how much contents do you have to write. So, and also you can just create this like sliding effect by doing this. And later I'm gonna show you how to do this. And also you can do, let's say if you're switching from, like, let's say you have already finished your introduction, and next you want to go to methodology. Like you can see we have this kind of like sliding effect. So yeah, so I think this is my favorite part, and I've been using this, all the time. And the next thing is I want to show you is that some animation. So this is also the slide that I presented for my last talk.
So Frank, could I just say something about that? You go back there, right? So my office mate here, Simon Payne Jones, he says that you should never make your presentation into a mystery novel. That is, you should tell people where they are in the presentation and kind of not leave the good bit to the end because they want to know, what's building up to. So this seems like a really good way to do that because you have a context of where you are in the presentation and kind of a building up story, and people can always reset themselves and figure out where they are. So I think I really like this part.
Yeah, actually, like after this talk, I'm gonna like send this like PowerPoint files to maybe to the matrix, or yeah. So you can just copy that and just make some modifications. Then you can just use it, treat it as your slide. Yeah. All right. So the next thing I want to show you is like adding some animations. Like this is actually the slide that I from my last talk, and you can see I don't really just want to put all the just to display all the stuff within like inside this single slide. Let's say sometimes I feel like it's kind of like a bombard, like kind of you're just dumping all the contents to your audience. Like maybe they have no idea what you're talking about. So what I did is like first I want only show a small part. Let's say this is like the original model things, right? Then I just I update it, and so right now we have like 3 branches, and then I add another data modality, and then maybe in the future we can just add more branches. And so at the end, this is not bottle trains, this is bottle siblings. So I think this is a better way to
I think it's called a build.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a slide build. Yeah.
Okay.
Very, very useful. Yeah.
Yes, I think this is really useful. And also it's quite easy to add this animation. Yeah. That's why I think this is a very useful trick. And also like here is another example. This is actually a slide that I just this is a slide from the last meeting. Like you can see I just put a lot of like information here. So you're kind of like dumping all this content to your audience. But instead, what you can do is like, first I show the data set, right? This is how the data set looks like. This is the result from the paper, from another paper. And this is the result that I reproduced, right? So you can see like the results look really similar. That means like my reproduction is successful. And this is how the model parameters like, and this is how the structure is like, and stuff. You can see by adding these like animations. So I think it's better for the audience to follow your thread, right? Because they got to know, what you're gonna talk next. And yeah, so I think this is a really useful. I've been using this all the time. Yes, it's good. And another thing I want to show you is like,
sorry, the previous one.
yeah.
I just use a dumb method where I just copy and paste. So I have like 3 slides.
Yeah.
The first one has got the first bit, and the second one is repeat the first one, but
Yeah.
then with the next one.
Yeah, that's feasible. Yeah, I think it's the same, right? Yeah.
So is there a trick to do this? Because at the end of the the talk, you share your presentation slides to the audience or share it in public. So instead of seeing 1 slide, they now see 5 slides.
Yeah.
So
I think
is
the
there a-
problem with 5 slides is that first, obviously, you will just increase your your file size, right?
Exactly.
So I basically I don't do this. So I think adding animation is really
So
straightforward.
then with the tool, you can just have 1 slide and then
Yes.
you will be able to.
So
Yes.
here you can see this appear on click, and you can just add any.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess next, this is the demo that I want to show you, like how I just optimize this slide one step by step. So like this is also from my last talk, right? I mean, this is not bad. As you can see, this is a table, right? This is a comparison between 2 methods. But what I want to here, I'm going to show you how to optimize this one step by step. So the first step is I change the color, right? Like this is more Cambridge. So I just change the color to red. All right. And the next step is I use this kind of like rectangle, because sometimes if you just enclose your text inside a rectangle, this is actually a action of, I guess, highlight. Like basically like if I put a rectangle, then you can see, wow, this is the content that I want to highlight, right? So yeah, and also it seems like a little bit like visually appealing. So I also use this kind of like rectangle. Yeah, and the next step is like I add some like this reference lines, so it looks more like a table, and also it's easier for them to be aligned. And then finally, you can just add more creativities. Like let's say here, like self-supervised learning is the one that I want to like emphasize, right? So I just want to create something different from supervised learning, and also. Inside self-supervised learning, data is the most important part. So I want to highlight this. I just, make the font bigger, and also you can actually rotate it, but it is, keep it in a normal way. And also here you can see, you can just type some text here, but sometimes I find it really useful to add some images. So, yeah, and also, yeah, so this is how you just optimize this, like, slide one step by step. But and also I want to say that sometimes you don't have to, I guess it really depends on like what case you're going to use your slides. For instance, if I had a Baltings like group meeting this morning, right? I don't have to create this kind of visually appealing because I don't, because this is just an internal meeting. So what I do is like I just knock up a few slides and just show them like what I did in a quick way, right? But if you want to like present your work, maybe in a conference or yeah, maybe to your boards and something like that, you can just figure out a way to beautify your slides like this. So yeah. And also here I want to show another demo. Like I really want to like walk you through how I did this. So this is actually the William Gates building, right? And yeah, because this is like a hands-on tutorial, so I'm gonna show you like how I created this. So the only material that I use is just a single image like this. But at the end, we want to create something like that. All right, so I'm gonna show you how to do this right now. Yeah. So let's say we only have this one, right? Like, do you remember? Like, I recommend a plugin. It's called iSlide. This is a plugin from a Chinese company. So if you take a look at its website, I think it's all Chinese, but it doesn't matter. You can just download that and install it in your PowerPoint. Because I just figured out that I just found that actually there's a setting somewhere that you can just correct choose the language as English. So yeah, so here this is like an English version. But I don't know if I don't think iSlide works for Mac OS. But I do believe that there are some like other plugins that works for Mac OS. Just doesn't matter. Just I think sometimes I find this kind of like plugin really useful. So what I did is like if you take a look at here, sorry, I think there is a okay. Orlando. Yeah, I think this is a link. Yeah, iSlide.com. I think this is the Chinese company product. Yeah, but yeah. If you take a look at it here, actually we have like 5 windows, right? So what we did first is like we have to insert. Wait, just moving here. So we just insert 5 rectangle. Right. And also like so maybe the easiest thing for you is like actually you can just click that and you can click Ctrl+C to like replicate, right? But with this iSlide plugin, you can actually do this very quickly. Like if you go to like layout and you do like matrix layout, and here you can see you can just specify the horizontal amount. Let's say we just use 5. Sorry, it's 5. And also you can just specify the spacing between them. Just give a little bit of spacing. Apply. So yeah, this way it would just create like this 5 rectangles automatically. But this way just right. Let's just move it a little bit because I don't have the mouse here. I have to use the pad here. It's a little bit. All right. Right now we have like this 5 rectangles, right? But they seem a little bit large. So what we did is like we select all of them and you can just press like shift on your keyboard so that you can just make them, they have the same ratio. But let's say if you don't let's say if you don't press shift, when you resize this rectangle, you can see like it just breaks its original ratio. So what I would suggest is that when you want to do this, you just because right now I'm using a Mac to using a remote desktop to control my Windows PC. Sometimes it's really confusing between the Control plus C and the Command plus C. But it doesn't matter. Let's say we just select all the 5 shapes and you press Shift, and so that you can just say a little bit smaller, and then you just move it here. Like you can see, this one is outside this frame, so you can just put it here. And another thing that I find is pretty useful about this iSlide plugin is that right now we have 5 shapes here, right? But obviously they are not aligned, right? So what we did is like we wanted them to distribute it evenly, like horizontally, right? So what I did is like we select all of them, and if you go to the design panel here, like you can see here is a button. This is called distribute, like horizontally. And you click that, and they're horizontally distributed. And also you can see this, maybe this is a little bit large. So what we can do is like we resize it a little bit. All right, I think this is it. And then just put it in the right place and just select all of them and also align them and distribute. Okay, yeah, so this is how we create this 5 like rectangles. And the next step is like, if you take a look at here, like they have some like rotations, right? So what we did next, what we're gonna do next is we go to the, so if you collect the shape, like you can just like double click that, and here there is a format shape. So it would just like automatically like pop up this kind of window that you can have a lot of things to play with. Let's say we just go to the effects here, and here there is a 3D effects and 3D rotation. So what you do is like we select this 3D rotation, and here there's some like presets. Let's say we just selected this one, and you can see, well, it rotates a little bit, but right. And also we can just configure these parameters here. Let's say right now you only have like 20 degrees. Let's just say to 40, and also perspective maybe to 90. All right. So yeah, this looks like this. And then for this for this rectangle, we do the same thing, although we have to change the parameters a little bit. So here, there is a shortcut for doing this because previously we just let's say we set some settings for this rectangle. So what we did next is that you can go to home bar, and here there is a format painter. So if you click this, it will just copy the format setting of the selected like shape. And if you select the one that you want to apply the same format, then here. So this becomes like they become identical. And also you have to change this a little bit because let's say we just change the rotation to maybe 60, yeah, and perspective maybe to 120. I don't think we need to change the rotation, just this one. Yeah, just this one. And for this here, for the 2 down here, we do the same thing. Also, you can just like use this format shape brush and just click that. And also, because this is you have to flip this, right? So what you're gonna do is like you select it, and I think there is a you can go to shape format, and there is a rotate here, and you can just do the flip vertically or flip horizontally. Obviously, we're gonna do it horizontal. Well, it doesn't work. I don't know why. That's okay. So we just set it here. So right now, this step, we're gonna use this preset, and we set this as maybe yes, great, and also set it to 90. Yeah, and for this, doing the same thing. We can just use this format painter like that, and set that to yes. All right. So doing this way, so by doing this, we create this 5 windows. But then next we just adjust to the shape of this. Just select that and make this a little bit larger, right? And for this to here, also we increase the size a little bit. Yeah, all right. So yeah, so this is how we do it. The next thing that we need to do is like, we have an image down here, right? So we have to put this image into this 5 panes, right? So by doing this, is you can actually just create 5. You can just copy like 5 images and you can crop them one by one, like. But this is really time consuming. So with this iSlide, you can actually do the crop here. Like you go to, I think design layouts, there is a crop pictures. Oh no, sorry, this is a matrix crop. And because we want to create 5 crops, so you just go to horizontal amount, set it to 5, and vertical, just set it to 1, apply. So after doing this, you can see like this is been cropped automatically. So all you do is like assign this like 5 pieces into their corresponding panel. So let's say for this one, we're gonna fill that into this the shape here. So we just collect here, and you can just control plus C to copy this image, and then just click the shape, and you go to the fill, and here you can see you can select like a lot of like settings. We have like gradient view, picture, or texture because we want to fill the picture, right? So just click picture, and also you can see we just click. Oh, okay. So this is how we just fill the picture into this rectangle. And for this, we're doing the same thing. We just first copy that and select picture, clipboard, and yeah. So this is really quick actually. Like click that. Also for this, just picture, click that. For that one, click that. All right. So yeah, this is how we do it. And after doing this, you can just delete the picture down here because we're no longer using them. Okay, yeah. Well, at this, it looks similar right now, but we have to add some like more effects. So the first thing we do is like, if you take a look at the shape here, we actually have a boundary line here, right? So the first thing we need to do is we want to get rid of this boundary line, and we go to the fill shape and not fill, but to the line because we have a solid line here. Then we just select no line. Yeah, so we just get rid of those lines. And then next, if you take a look at here, actually we have like a shadow here. If you can, I don't know if you can observe, like there's kind of like a shadow. So by using this shadow, we can just create a sense of depth. Like you can see they're actually higher, they're actually from like different hierarchy, right? So next we're gonna create this kind of like shadow effects. What we did is like, actually you can just do it using some shapes. Just use your imagination. Like first we recreate a shape like this, right? We don't want the lines, so we just select no lines. And if we go to gradient view, like you can see, and also we just select linear, yes, increase it. The next thing is like, we can see there are 2 gradient colors here. The first is black and the other is also black. So what we did is like, we first selected the first color. We just changed the transparency maybe to 20%. And this one to 100%. Yeah, this is exactly the same. And also there's a line, there's a boundary of this rectangle. So we just go to the line here, select no line. All right, by doing this, we created a shadow like this, but because right now we have a white background, so you cannot observe this. So what you do next is you go to you double click the slide background, and you go to the format background. And here you can like select you can just choose like what to fill your background. So we're gonna choose solid fill, and we set the color to black. Yeah, so right now you can see, yeah, so there's kind of like a shadow effect of this red. And also we're doing it for just copy that and for this, and also copy that for this one. But make sure we want to flip it vertically. So we go to shape format, and here there's a rotate. Just flip it. Yeah, so it's flipped. Maybe do this one. Yeah. You can just make it larger. All right, so by doing this, we basically reproduce the most of the part, right? So next, we're gonna add a text down here. So what we do is like, first we insert a basic text box. This is department, because right now we have the like black font color, so we have to go to this color and set it to maybe to orange. Right, so this is department computer science and technology. Right, so we create this plain text. Next thing we do is like we select that, we go to the paradigm up here, there is a shape format. And yeah, so there is a text effect, we just select it. And you can see there are a lot of like effects that you can play with. We just go to the transform and here, yeah, we just select this one thing. Yes. And just enlarge that. Yeah. And also this, I don't think the font style looks good, so you can always like choose another font. I think this one, yeah, this one looks so good. Yeah, so by doing this, you kind of just reproduce the result up here. So this is how, this is like a hands-on tutorial how to design this. But I would say, because like as I mentioned before, like it's basically impossible for you to just master all the tricks within 1 hour. So I would say just maybe just make more slides, like make progress as you go and stuff. And I think that is basically the end of my sharing. And also, if you're really interested in some of the slides, like how I do this, I can actually reproduce it here. And yeah, so that is the end. And I hope you get to know something, learn something. Yeah, thank you.
Any questions?
I just, you had mentioned at some point you used this warp transition. What was this?
Oh, I forgot to mention.
Yeah.
So the warp transition is like that. So I can actually like show you how I did this navigation bar, like the sliding effect within the navigation bar, right? Sorry. Let's see here. Like you can see if you enter the next slide, but there is a sliding effect, right? So by doing this is quite simple. Let's say we just create another down here. There's okay. So this one here, right? And the first step you need to do is like, because you want to, sorry, let's just show you a simple one maybe. Let's say you have this slide, right? And then right now you're in the introduction section, and right now you're talking about why we're doing this. And in the next slide, you're gonna show you like, well, what is the paradigm, right? So what you did is like, first you selected this slide, and then you can just press Ctrl+D. This will duplicate a slide that is identical to your selected slide. Also, you can also do this by, let's say you press Ctrl+C and Ctrl+V. So this is the same, you can just do a Ctrl+D. So this will create this in one. And then, because in the second slide, you want to go to the paradigm like section, right? So the first thing you do is like, first you change the font color. So first, this is kind of like an orange color. You can go to the home, like, do you still remember like the format engine I mentioned? You can just click that one and you just collect it. So this will just automatically apply the same format of the one that you selected. But here the font size is a little bit large, so you can just show it. Yeah. And then you can just change this color back to white. All right. And then you can just here, this is actually a rectangle. So you just remove this rectangle down here, right? But you can see like it seems like this rectangle is above the text. So what you have to do is like you selected this text box and you just bring it to front so that this will not be obscured by this by this rectangle, right? So this is the first step. And then the next step is very easy. Like you go to the transitions bar here, there is more. That this is in the first place, right? So you just select the first one, just select more, and you just create this. So this is pretty simple. We can just preview this again. Like this is your last slide, and next you want to go to another section, and you just click. Yeah, this is how it is. So this is pretty simple.
So like for any element, if you say to do this like morph transition, PowerPoint would just figure out how to go from one to the other.
Yeah, but sometimes it can be also, yeah, sometimes it will just mess up with different like rectangles. Like for instance, I can show you an example. Here. Let's create a new slide, right? And here we can just exert some of the, let's say this, just copy here. Let's select, change the color, blue, red. Let's just create multiple of them, right? Say 4 of them, and in the next slide, so you can just press Ctrl+D to replicate another slide. Let's say you want this, you want the first rectangle to move it from here, and you want the second rectangle to move on up, and this one maybe down, this one maybe up. And then if you do this, you can just create a, let's say, transition morph. You can see we just automatically find it. But sometimes it's problematic because let's say, well, how about I don't want this? Like if we take a look at the animation, sorry, it's not animation, it's just previous. Let's say, well, how about we don't really want the first, like this is not, how about we just want the first rectangle to be this one, well, rather than this one. So what you're gonna do is like you shouldn't name them. So you just go to selected, and I think you go to home. There is a sorry, I think there's kind of like, all right, here. So there's a selection panel here in the right side. You can see like, so this 2 Chinese character stands for rectangle. Let's say we have like different rectangle, but you can see they have the same name, right? So sometimes it can be confounding because the PowerPoint doesn't know like which one is which one because they have the same name. So if you really want to bind this rectangle to the one up here, what you're gonna do is like first we go to the first slide, right? And if we select that, you can see this is the rectangle 11. You can just correct the name. You can use the correct name, but using to examination. I don't know how to call this symbol. It's called exclamation. Yeah, exclamation like point. And you use 2 of them, and then just maybe give it a label 001, right? So and then for the next slide, because you want to bind this one to the one up here, right? Or whatever you want. Let's say we just bind this one, and also you click this one and you rename them. Make sure they have the same name, but with yeah. And then we can just show you again, right? Go to slide, right? So you can see we just, you know, they are bound, right? So in this case, like the PowerPoint will not be confounded by the same name. Yeah. So this is how you bind them. Yeah, I think that answers your question.
Yeah, super cool. I always use Google Slide. I don't think they have like a morph transition. I don't think they've figured out how to make things. I don't know. I guess like whatever logic it takes to transition between different objects.
Yeah. So by doing this, you actually just forcefully like bind these 2 shapes, and yeah. Right.
Okay, anybody, yeah.
I'm curious how you think about the marginal benefit of an additional unit of time spent on making slides further. Yeah, because like I clearly there's a very deep rabbit hole and you know tons about like the different effects and things, right? But it feels like you can always make a slide a bit prettier by adding another effect, and a bit more prettier by adding another effect. When's the point where you go, okay, this is enough, now it's better to use my time to like do more research or write this paper or do something else?
I think
How do you
it's-
balance that? Yeah.
That's a good point. I think this is totally empirical. Like from my own experience, I don't know. So maybe sometimes I feel satisfied. They just stopped like beautifying it. Yeah, it's really hard to answer. I mean,
Yeah, I guess it's also a question for the people with more life experience in the room in terms of just weighing priorities.
Oh, I don't have more life experiences, but anecdotally for serious, they have
zero marginal return, so they just use like the overly blue template.
NVIDIA.
So I was wondering where that came from until I realized it's the overly thing that everyone's using.
It's like the exact opposite approach, technically.
Yeah.
Zero effort.
Yeah. I have one suggestion, which is what I've been doing more and more these days is I just write slides in plain text.
Yes.
With no images, nothing beautiful, and then I use this AI designer. I just say, I just pick a design for me, and 9 times out of 10 it gives you 5 choices, and 9 times out of 10 one of the 5 is really nice, and it takes me basically no effort at all.
Yes.
PowerPoint.
Okay,
This,
PowerPoint designer.
So PowerPoint, yeah, on the side.
Yeah, on
kind
the
of
side, so-
automatically pops up and
That's
then you
right.
select one.
Designer, yeah. And so I've been doing that for the last, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 years. It's getting better and better and better.
Yes.
I mean, and I used to work with people who made beautiful slides, and now my slides, but they don't look terrible. They're not perfect, but their effort ratio is essentially zero. And I'm not even writing text. I'm actually dictating text. I just print out the slides, and then I hit AI designer done. So I'm getting slides done basically almost zero. As fast as I can speak in my slides.
Once we outsource writing to ChatGPT as
Yeah.
well, really, you're just,
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, if you have a clear idea of the story you want to tell, that's actually the most important thing. I think what Frank is describing is, how to present your ideas. The hard part is not the slides, actually. The hard part is the story. Right? You get the story clear so that you get rid of all the extra stuff. It's the hard. Once you have that, then, these tricks can help you a lot. The AI designer helps you quite a bit, actually. I don't know if you use it at all, but
No, I haven't used that.
yeah, I mean, I found it to be really a very big time saver for creating slides. And in fact, I gave a presentation recently, and I had basically a bunch of text, and I wanted to convert that into slides, and was able to do that just by using this AI designer. Okay, I think our next group is coming in. Let's stop. Thank you very much, Frank.